axe tight in hand. Through mountains of content, he's taken a stand. Burnout shows a shadow, creeping across the land. But he fights with valiance, heart of a gamer grand. Phase 2 can wait, the journey's far from done. Burn out before the end, beneath the blazing sun. Welcome back, folks, to the shadows glow. In each pixel shimmer, the tales of Masterath flow.
Hello everybody, it's Masterath here, and welcome to, well, for the 10th time, not in a row unfortunately, because I forgot to do one of these in 2020, but welcome to Masterath Gaming's Wheel of Let's Plays 2025. So, for new watchers of the channel who have never seen this annual video before, pretty much I record very much in advance. I've been doing it for many years, and that's probably one of the biggest reasons why I've done daily uploads for the last 11 years. And pretty much with how big my recording is, I could essentially give you a bit of a sneak preview into many games that will be Let's Played next year, will be released next year. So I've got all these games here, 31 in total. Now, again, as always when it comes to these Wheel of Let's Plays, card is subject to change, schedule is subject to change. I'm working on a lot of different Let's Plays right now, which are all on this list, so I haven't completed them as of yet. So, yeah, they could be in next year's schedule, they could be in the year after. I don't know as of yet, but since we're getting quite close to the end of the year at this point, it's obviously close to Halloween right now, so hope everyone enjoys the spooky Halloween wheel this time round. But yeah, so it's not definite that all of these Let's Plays will be coming out next year. The majority of them will, for certain. But some of them might go over to 2026's recordings, just to make everyone aware of it. Those that are scheduled in for next year, I will obviously let people know that they are. Anyway, let us begin with our first game to be shown, and it is, well, it is Sonic Superstars. Until recently, the most recent Sonic game to be released. Until recently, that is, because obviously Shadow Generations has just recently come out. But this is my 20th Sonic Let's Play. It's of essentially the newest 2D platformer from Sega and the Sonic team, which has garnered mixed reviews. That was when I bought it. I don't know what it's like now, but essentially the game is, do you know what, it's fine. We go through the hard mode, we go through, obviously Trip Story, we go through all of that. But there are quite some annoying bugs in it that I did find out about, and everything like that. I'm gonna be honest, there are better 2D Sonic games out there. The first 4 and Mania, just to name a couple. Anyway. So yeah, my 20th Sonic Let's Play will be that one. Okay, so Stratego. So, yeah, Stratego. If anyone's not heard of Stratego, it is it's sort of like a chess-like strategy board game where you've got to use your pieces to try and find your opponent's flag. Now, unlike chess, where you can see what piece is what, in Stratego, all the pieces have a number value. The higher the number value, when you go up against someone else, you can win on that. Essentially, higher number wins, apart from certain situations. It's essentially chess on steroids, pretty much. And yeah, it's quite an enjoyable couple of videos where I play Stratego online against other people to try and capture flags and maintain a winning record. Yeah, I guess we'll see how that goes when the Let's Play comes out. Okay, the next game is... Alright, I've wanted to do this one for a while. I Let's Played Diablo back in the day. And I do own Diablos 2, 3, and 4 now. And I did want to do a Let's Play of Diablo 2, but I never really got into it that much as when I was younger. I did own Diablo 2, I owned it on CD. And yeah, I never really got into it as much as the first Diablo, but then again, I was very much a console person with the, well, at that point. Now I'm very much more PC based, so yeah, I finally give Diablo 2 a shot, and this is currently one of the games that I'm currently playing through right now. But I'm very close to finishing Act 1. It shouldn't take me too much longer, I think. And I do think that this will be one of the games that will be released next year. But again, not too sure as of yet. But it is quite a fun one. We get to see what happens to the land of Tristram after, essentially, what happens at the end of Diablo 1. We go to our rogue encampment. We eventually meet up with Cain again. Cain's best character, of course. And we go around killing monstrosities and demons all around the land. As per usual with the Diablo series. Alright, and the next game is, well, a game that is very similar to Diablo 2. Fate Undiscovered Realms. So again, I Let's Play the original Fate game a couple of years ago. And I really enjoy the Fate series. I do. So this is the second of 4 Undiscovered Realms, where essentially our character is a bit of an idiot. And we help an old man out who's actually evil. And yeah, we have to go to 2 places to try and defeat enemies to eventually try and find that old man that took the Book of Fate. So, yeah. It's the second of 4 games. Again, it's a game that's very similar to the Diablo 2 style sort of dungeon crawler. Well, the Diablo style dungeon crawler in itself. So, yeah, pretty much, if you like Diablo 2, you'll like the Fate series as well. Sort of like PG Fate, I guess. Alright, West of Loathing. I've been looking forward to this one. So, West of Loathing is an experience-based or like turn-based strategy game with a lot of comedy in it. There's something you can do in the game very early, which essentially means that you have to walk funny for the rest of the game. But essentially, we are going out on a journey through a black and white wild, wild west. Everyone is a stick figure. And we are just having fun, to be honest. It's quite a fun sort of point-and-click style RPG. It's quite a fun one, this one. Again, this is one of the games that I'm currently playing through at the moment, alongside Fate Undiscovered Realms. I should have mentioned that as well. But yeah. But again, I think this is one that I'll certainly be able to complete when I stop trying to add new Let's Plays. I really got to stop doing that. I really do. And next up, our Christmas special for next year. So, we got a Christmas special for this year, of course. But next year's Christmas special is the god-awful game Santa Claus Saves the Earth, which was released on the Game Boy Advance and the PlayStation 1 in 2002, I believe, if I remember correctly, by Telegames. Now, this game is not very good. This game came out, like, 4 years after Spyro the Dragon did, 6 years after the first Crash game did, and this game looks like crap. And it's slow as well. It's to the point that, I mean, this game just should not have come out, you know, at that point. It's 2002. Gameplay was getting a hell of a lot better at that point, and then they bring out something like this, which is essentially a platformer that lasts about an hour if you're really good at the game. Yeah, it's not a good one. It's No Days Before Christmas, and that came out, I think, 8 years before this. Yeah, this one's not very good. But then again, it's not the first time I've done a Christmas Let's Play that's bad. It's not the first time I've done that. Alright, next up. Okay, so we did the Game of Life, of course. When was that? Would have been some point, I believe, this year. Well, maybe last year. So, there is a sequel to it, The Game of Life 2, where pretty much it's very similar when it comes to that. There are a couple of additions like taxes and stuff like that we need to get used to, but it is a very similar thing to the first Game of Life Let's Play that we did, obviously based off of the board game. Alright, and next up we have... Okay! Did everyone like Shotgun King The Final Checkmate? Doesn't matter if you did or if you didn't. This is Unlock the King. This is essentially a puzzle game where you have to move pieces to give your king all the movement, essentially a straight path, to the finish of the level. And yeah, a lot of it is all about, you got to move these pieces out the way. But obviously, chess pieces move completely differently depending on what type of piece it is. So yeah, that is pretty much this game. It's a puzzle game with 100 levels in it, where you have to essentially unlock the king by moving other pieces out of the king's way, so the king has a straight shot to the end of its level. Very interesting, actually. They did make 2 more games of Unlock the King, which I might do at some point. Who knows? And next up, alright, the first game that will be released next year. So that will be coming out on New Year's Day. Serious Sam Double D XXL, the PC game of the usually 3D comedy shooter Serious Sam. But this is the 2D version, hence Double D, but also haha breasts. Yeah, this is Serious Sam, where essentially we go around shooting stuff. We also can shoot multiple guns at the same time with connectors that look like those arm things that you use to pick up rubbish. You know, those things. But essentially, this is just all just straight up shooting and fun. It's a shoot 'em up fun game, is Serious Sam. And it's definitely serious. Obviously, the first time that we sort of knew about Serious Sam was back in the Oh Sir, the Insult Simulator Let's Play. So it's nice to finally get around to playing a game from the Serious Sam series, actually. And next up, we have... Alright, I'm not too sure about this one, but Dragon Ball Xenoverse is a game that I have tried to Let's Play once before. This was when the studio was in a completely different area, and I tried to do that, and I got about 2 videos in, and then just went, nah, can't be bothered. But I have recently gotten Xenoverse on PC, and Xenoverse 2, for that matter, on PC. And unlike in something like GT Final Bout and Budokai 3, which were the other 2 Dragon Ball Let's Plays that I did, I'm actually a lot more well-versed in Dragon Ball in general, to be honest. To be fair, those Let's Plays were a long time ago. But yeah, pretty much we go around the story of the Dragon Ball Z anime. But there's certain people trying to change time, essentially, and we have our own creator character that is here as a time patroller to try and keep the timeline as it is, not try to change it into these what-if scenarios that Dragon Ball YouTubers like to do. And some of them are quite enjoyable, some of them are not so much. Anyway, we're here to stop that. Stop it, Dragon Ball YouTuber what-ifers. I don't know what the full name of that is, but yeah. My creator character's gonna get you. Brr. That is what I'm currently working on at the moment, but I am sort of on a bit of a break from it at the moment. Just focusing on other stuff. Right. Octogeddon. I'm currently playing through Plants vs. Zombies 2. Did everyone enjoy Plants vs. Zombies 1 that I Let's Played? Well, this game is made by the same bloke. Yeah, Octogeddon. It's a brutal roguelike where you play as an easily triggered octopus. You go around being triggered by everything, and you then have to destroy buildings and submarines and planes and tanks and other weird stuff to try and destroy national monuments. Yes, there are things like the White House, the Statue of Liberty, the Eiffel Tower, the Sydney Opera House, etc., etc. in the roguelike that usually lasts. Now, I know that most roguelikes will last around an hour. You know, every run lasts probably about, like, 40 minutes, an hour, maybe 1 hour 20 at most. This one, you're more than likely looking at 2 hours plus, maybe even 2.5. An absolutely brutal roguelike, this. But it is quite enjoyable. But it's brutal. Not for the weak, not for the faint-hearted, this one. But it's fun. You know, it's like a Plants vs. Zombies style game. You get upgrades. You get extra equipment. You can unlock equipment. And you can unlock, like, extra health and everything to get you further into the game. And then you go on hard mode and realize you spent all that buying health and it means nothing. Ugh. Even I'm a bit triggered after playing that. Jesus. Took a long time to finish hard mode, that. Alright. more than likely the second game to be released next year. Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2. So I Let's Played the original Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance a very long time ago. And I finally got around to playing the second one. And this is sort of the first game, when it comes to like dungeon crawls or RPGs, where I don't actually play as just the basic brute warrior. Because I usually do when it comes to these. But I thought, pretty much for this year, I thought I'd branch out into different styles of characters and different classes of characters. So I'm playing essentially as a ranger in this one. The Diablo one, I'm playing as a paladin. And the Fate one, I'm playing as a mage/necromancer. So, yeah, it's not just all hit with axe and win. No, there's a bit more strategy involved now with these dungeon crawlers and me. So, yeah, pretty much it goes after the first game's ending. And now we have a weird vampire guy who's trying to resurrect the Onyx Tower. We are the little dwarf man who is bloody awesome. And he's going to shoot everything to death. And then we're going to upgrade our stuff. And he's going to shoot everything to death. And then we're going to get some money. And not get poison. Then we're going to add poison onto our weapon. And then he's going to shoot everything to death. And then, yeah, he'll win. Eventually. Alright, next up. Alright. I'm sure people have probably thought and looked at a game like Balatro and thought, yeah, Masterath's going to play that, isn't he? Well, yes, I am. Balatro is another roguelike. It's a roguelike based off of a 52-card deck, playing card deck. And in that, you need to know things like poker rules, and poker hands, for example. Mostly. Essentially, you've got to make 5 cards from the cards that you have available to make the best poker hand. You can also, throughout the roguelike, gain jokers, which can help you get better things. It's a very, very well fleshed out game, is Balatro, and I think they're still sort of like updating it every so often. There hasn't been any new content apart from aesthetical changes since I did the Let's Play of it. But there might be by the time it gets released, so who knows when it comes to that. But yeah, Balatro is, again, they've got like difficulty settings in the game, like of different stakes. You got like the really easy stakes at the bottom, which are essentially your easy difficulty. But then you got things like gold stake, which is the highest stake, and that's an arse. That is really tough, and every time you go up the stakes, the game either makes things more difficult or takes things away from you, which is like, no, I need that. No, I don't have that anymore. Okay. This isn't going to go well. But yeah, Balatro. It's a long Let's Play. I think when it comes to all of these, there aren't any Let's Plays that are over 60 parts so far, which is why there's so many. But yeah, Balatro is one of the longer ones. I think it's like 52 or something. It's a long one. Alright, and next up is... Alright, Shatter! So, made by the same people. Who liked me Let's Playing Rival Stars Horse Racing? Well, the same guys made this. Shatter is very much an Arkanoid-style game, where you have to keep firing a ball at things like walls and enemies and everything else, pretty much. If anything, if you've played Arkanoid, you're probably going to get used to things like Shatter. But there are certain things you can do, for example. Like, for example, there are bosses at the end of every world that you have to beat by hitting them with balls or firing shots at them, which you've eventually accrued over so long, and eventually beat the game. The game's also got a very good soundtrack as well. But yeah, pretty much think of a futuristic space age Arkanoid with great music. That's pretty much Shatter for you. Alright, and next up we have... Right, I'm not too sure about this one, but I've done 2 parts of it, so you never know. I sort of wanted to either go for Fire Emblem Path of Radiance as my next Let's Play, or the first Game Boy Advance Fire Emblem game of, like, the trilogy of 7 and Sacred Stones. So this is the Binding Blade. So if people don't know about the Fire Emblem series and the 7th game in the series, which is the first one that was released worldwide, that is actually a prequel to the 6th game, which is this, the Binding Blade. And we essentially get to play as the main characters of the 7th game's offspring, so like Roy and everyone else. Marcus is still in the game, so we get to tell him to shut up again. That's always good. I think. But yeah, pretty much, if everyone enjoyed my Let's Play of Fire Emblem 7 and Fire Emblem Sacred Stones, then, yeah, you'll probably enjoy this one when I eventually get back into it. It's very much a Xenoverse sort of thing. I've sort of left it for a bit. Alright, and next up. Right, did everyone enjoy my Let's Play of Poker Night of the Inventory? The Telltale game of, like, Telltale characters and playing poker? Well, here was the sequel, Poker Night 2, that they removed from Steam due to licensing issues. This is Poker Night 2, where instead of having, like, Max and Tycho and the Heavy going against you, instead we got Claptrap and Sam and others. So, yeah, pretty much it's very much a similar game to the first one. But you can play Omaha in it, which is nice, I guess. That's a plus. Yeah, like 4 episodes, that. If there's any more after that. Right! More board games, everyone! Anyone remember the game Risk? Risk is a game where you pretty much go around with your soldiers trying to take over the entire world. Usually you'll have more units than your opponent, and then you have to roll dice. The higher roll means that you knock out your opponent. Essentially with Risk, it's usually like a 4-player game, but I guess you can play it with 2. Where a lot of it is luck-based, but a lot of it is also strategy. As you can essentially fortify yourself in certain places, Australia being the main one. In this game where you go around defeating opponents and trying to take over certain areas of the world, and then taking over all the world and winning the game and everything else. Alright, next up is... Right, this game made fire overpowered, didn't it? Welcome to Midnight Resistance, a game on the Sega Genesis. It's a game where pretty much you are... I believe you're going after drug lords, essentially. On, like, this sort of strange, like, spaceship thing, I guess? Anyway, at the end of every level, you get upgrades to your massive gun. Fire's literally the only one you need, and it destroys everything. But then you can upgrade your fire to make it blue fire, and then the game becomes a complete cakewalk. Yeah, this Let's Play lasts less than 20 minutes. It's a one-parter. That's how good Fire is. The game that made Fire the greatest of all time. Alright, another roguelike, everyone. Dicey Dungeons. So, essentially in this game, it's almost similar to a lot of other roguelikes. But when it comes to that, pretty much it's a dice RNG. So you roll your dice, you get your RNG amount that you need, and you already have your own abilities, but your own abilities may need certain dice to go into it. So there are on some occasions that you will roll your dice and get none of the numbers you want, and then you can't use your turn. We've got 6 different characters to play, 6 different episodes for each character, and then one big final episode where we want to try and escape this definite game show that we're actually just giant sentient dice going around, completing floors, beating bosses, dying a lot, and hating the witch character, because the witch character sucks. Alright, next up. Right. Okay. So, Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric. What a lot of people say is the worst Sonic game ever made. And I had to find that out for myself, because I still think 06 is. So, I got Sonic Boom, I got Rise of Lyric. It is obviously my first Wii U Let's Play. Yeah, that bloody awful console, the Nintendo Wii U. My first Let's Play on the Wii U. And yeah, Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric. It's a game. This is one of the ones that I haven't fully completed as of yet, but I've gotten... Oh, I'm not even halfway through yet, actually, but, you know, I'm getting there in that. Probably be able to get that complete at some point. But yeah, Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric. what a lot of people say is the worst Sonic game ever made. And 06 exists. Right now, my own review of it, I still think 06 is worse, but... I mean, Rise of Lyric is boring. That's its biggest flaw. Its biggest flaw is that it's boring and its frame rates are crap, but... 06 is worse, I still think at the moment. Maybe the game will change my mind, because I haven't fully completed it as of yet. Alright, next Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's Play. Again, haven't fully completed this one, but I am quite close. For the Game Boy Advance, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Duel Academy. So, I know there's a lot of other Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters games, like Dark Duel Stories, and there are a couple of other ones that were like for the Game Boy Color and look not great. But, you know, they're probably nice if you played them when you were younger. But yeah, now it's time for GX Duel Academy, where the game actually, you know, looks like the actual game. There's none of this, oh, a certain type beats a certain type. No, it's just, they've even got the forbidden list on there, like the forbidden, the limited, the semi-limited list. They've actually got that in the game of GX Duel Academy. Essentially, we go around dueling people, getting duel points, buying packs to improve our deck, while everyone else already has things like Raigeki, Torrential Tribute, Harpy's Feather Duster, Monster Reborn, and Snatch Steel, everyone's favourite card of all time. Will eventually get as good as them. Eventually, and also, hopefully, not stay in Slifer Red all the time. And you get better at those tests. You certainly do. Alright, next up, it's thematic that one's last. But yeah, Fighter's History for the NES. Everyone remember Street Fighter 2? Well, here's this game that looks like Street Fighter 2. But it's not, though. Even though both companies actually did go to court about it. Because there is literally rip-off Chun-Li in there. I swear it. But essentially, Fighter's History, the thing that really sets it apart, I guess... Oh, by the way, they won the lawsuit, by the way, and just... They said, oh no, there are certain things in the game that look copied, but they can be used by anybody, pretty much. But if you look at the game, oh, it does look like... It does look like bargain basement Street Fighter 2. But one thing that does set Fighter's History apart from Street Fighter 2 is that all the characters have their own weaknesses. All the fighters have their own weaknesses. Which you can exploit to get a free stun your opponent. Which I think is quite interesting if you keep hitting where it is itself. It could be like a headband, it could be some leg guards, it could be something on the arms or on the torso or something like that. But if you hit it enough, you could actually cause a stun, which I think is a nice little extra there, to be honest, from Fighter's History. But yeah, this game... I hate using the term rip-off, I really do. But this game, apart from the whole, there's a certain weak spot in all the enemies, big old Street Fighter rip-off. Really is. Funny though. Like you got like a rip-off Zangief in there, but he's like glam rock Zangief. It's great. Alright, and probably the big one here. Flash games are back, folks. The whole Duck Life series. I'm Let's Playing next year. 1 to 9. So, Duck Life, I believe from 1 to 4, maybe 5. I think the 4, actually. Were all Flash games, where you train your duck in certain disciplines to race your opponents. And win tournaments, gain money, gain energy, give them feed to give them energy. And eventually they will become the champion and the winners of the game, and you'll complete the game. Now, the series has slowly started to add more things in. From the first one, there are only 3 disciplines you can have. And the 9th one, that was recently released, this year in fact, there are 6 disciplines. But then there's a lot more, there's some graphical changes, there's everything when it comes to that. And it's a nice sort of look from the first Flash game to, you know, the most recent game, which is on Steam, and everything of that sort. So, yeah, pretty much what we do here is we have a couple of weeks of Duck Life, and then a bit of a break, because that's like the first 4, and then we have a bit of a break, and then we have a whole month of Duck Life, which is 5 through 8, and then we have a bit of a break, and then the full release of the Let's Play of Duck Life 9. So, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to showing that off because I actually very recently, yesterday in fact, completed Duck Life 9. So that series is fully complete and will be coming out next year. Anyway, guys, that is going to be it from the Wheel of Let's Plays of 2025. What Let's Plays are you looking forward to that I'm playing next year? Let me know in the comments down below. And until then, folks, I'm Masterath, and I'll see you for my next video tomorrow. More Plants vs. Zombies 2. I'll see you then.